the Blackburn protest, the Blackburn takeover in 2021 lasted 34 days, where students protested housing conditions, mold, unsafe environment, a whole slew of issues. And guess who was president? Dr. Frederick himself. This is not his first rodeo when it comes to controversy at Howard University. From what I've seen working there last year, I brought up all these inhumane, ridiculous conditions, everything from student safety, inhumane temperatures and air quality, because all of the damn DOAS units were broken. The ventilation systems were broken. I believe many would, they appeared to be purposely destroyed. I've got videos and photos of it. And, this is not uncommon for Dr. Frederick, unfortunately. And what's even more disturbing is that the people that he has running Res Life, student housing, REDCAM, which, some of my co-workers would say Red Scam, run by a lady who calls herself Candy, and hence we called it Candyland, because of the discrimination that exists over there, and it's not because she appointed white people underneath her to as a deputy director and the chief engineer for campus apartments, and not because of that, but these people were heavily unqualified. They were unqualified. When you listen to the audio, you've got to ask yourself, what the hell is this guy talking about? Deputy director of REDCAM, it literally is more concerned about blinds than he is repairing AC units and the equipment, or the DOAS units, and the dedicated outdoor air systems that are necessary. And the EPA has standards for this. They looked at me like I was just, what's my problem? You see, they put a chief engineer there who could barely write a meaningful phrase. It misspelled every other word, can't spell the word water. And he's the chief engineer with no certifications. And I'm not saying it's because he's white. This has nothing to do with race. Our war is with, the spiritual wickedness, okay? Unfortunately, you see, because your own color can do you in. I mean, and I'm talking about President Frederick. I hate to say it. I've been trying to contact the guy for the damn past year. Can't get a hold of him. Unless you're Roland Martin or Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, you are not getting a hold of him. He will not respond to you via email or anything, okay? So, what I've documented, and I only did this as a concerned citizen, because really nobody cared, not even if the sexual harassment toward the girls by the stupid guys, some of these stupid guys I worked with over there. Not all of them, there's some good guys there, the best ones were at East and West Tower. He knows who he is, engineer, cool guy. But I'm talking about the degenerate co-workers that I complained about, making, unacceptable comments toward the girls on campus. I mean, I'm over 50. These guys are like 50 years old, and I said, man, these are like kids, man. What's wrong with you bastards? And I'm talking about a couple that worked there. Okay, we had some really good men. One was a DC commissioner, and they fired him for no reason. He had an excellent track record at the university, but since he brought up concerns, they fired him. We had another guy named Anthony who brought up concerns at the university, fired him. Never been written up. I've never been written up, you know. But once you make a statement and you say something that goes against, like, you know, their con or whatever you want to call it, you're out of there. I was told that I cannot record my coworkers engaging in unacceptable behavior because it makes them feel uncomfortable. So what they did was they relocated me off campus to Mazda Grand Mark, because Campus Apartments was selling that building, okay, last November 12th. They said I would be the interim maintenance supervisor, but it was just a big lie to get rid of me once the building sold. And I think that's the reason why President Frederick and the university, the leaders there, are not telling the truth, in my opinion. They're saying it has to do with all the students, the FBAs and all that. They can't read, and they didn't read the email right, and they didn't know how to respond. No, it's because they didn't have the room to put those 502 students. They sold a 628 bed building, a dorm building called Mazda Grand Mark. It's now called the Terra. It's a UMD dorm building now. They're not letting any Howard students, new applicants, apply there, from what I've been told. The Cook Hall building, which was just notorious for flooding, mold. You had ceiling collapse because of the constant flooding and mold. The drywall was so saturated. And I brought this up because it pissed me off. And I'm thinking this would not be the case at Yale or at Harvard University. No way. So I'm starting to wonder, you know, my conspiracy theory brain is like, well, are some people put there, or are they in place to keep it bad? I mean, because it doesn't take a lot of brain matter to figure out how to run and maintain these systems there. There was one gentleman who created something called Jot Farms for Campus Apartments, a genius, you know, to daily record the pressures and temperatures of the equipment in the mechanical rooms. Well, you know what? The chief engineer, the genius, he didn't want that. We argued over this, and so, well, what do you get? Well, you get buildings with no adequate or just no ventilation at all coming in, and this is why mold was flourishing. You know, they were blocking off mechanical room exhaust shafts were being blocked so that the building couldn't eject the excess heat, and, you know, stupid stuff like this. And when I told him about it, I said, well, man, we got to do something about this. He responded to me like the genius he is. Well, we don't have time for pet projects. I'm like, are you kidding me? I said, dude, if this was a building full of dogs, it'd be on the front page news. I said, is it because they're black? Is that why it's a pet project and we can't repair and replace what we need to? You see? So they got rid of me. They sent me off to Mazda Grand Mark to get that building ready for sale so the building could sell, which it did November 12th, 2025. And over there, it was a shit show. You had the maintenance crew over there was just unqualified. None of them had finished Grace Hill, which is required by HUD. Okay, so you have techs there that are seriously unqualified, messy as hell. A disco ball in the maintenance shop had a disco ball in it, and just nothing but trash. They were dumpster divers, and now they're relocated to Howard University, doing the same thing over there. Scavengers, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, I've never been written up. I'm guilty of trying to speak up for the girls, trying to bring up fire safety issues that put students and staff in grave danger. You know, whenever you have a chief engineer appointed by Candy and the deputy chief, right, Mr. Mueller, that's just who it is, and you got a deputy chief telling the crew if there's a fire, okay, because it's going to, tell you on the panel where the sprinkler head broke. You run to the fire, go and see about the fire, okay, after you turn on the sprinkler pump, the fire sprinkler pump manually. You run up, even if it's on the 9th floor, you run up, see about the fire. If you don't see a fire and you deem there's no fire, you run back down and turn it off. I said, hey, we are not qualified to disable the fire pump after it's been kicked on. Once it's activated, only the fire department, and they're just right up the street. I brought this up and showed my superiors the video. Nobody did a damn thing. Not a damn thing. In my opinion, he might have gotten a raise for doing that, because the worse you do, the less you do, the more you're rewarded with this company. Okay, from what I've seen, you speak up for the students. You bring up sexual harassment. Doesn't matter what it is, you're out of there. Okay, they got rid of a very upstanding DC commissioner, and all he did was not want to go along with their program. You see, all of this reached President Frederick, and he got somebody to run interference. The Title IX department, the investigators contacted me, and talking about, well, do you have a name of the victims? I'm like, I don't know the names of these girls that I see being victimized, harassed and stuff like this. Well, they can't do an investigation without a name. I said, damn, that's very strange. You got to have a name of a victim for you to investigate? And then I showed them at least 100 photos and a few videos of the most ridiculous mechanical rooms in the country, in the world. Totally crazy. The laundry room, the laundromat, half of the damn dryer exhaust hoses were disconnected. Just blasting, lint, heat, all throughout the building. And nobody gave a damn. I did as much as I could while I was there, until they got rid of me, you see. But that's okay. Maybe, who knows, maybe God sent me there to expose this, because Dr. Frederick, unfortunately, he was there also during the Bethune takeover, where the students were calling and demanding his resignation. If you're the captain of the ship and you can't do the job, you want to blame the students. It's like it's time to step down. It's nothing to get. You got $80 million, $80 million, okay? $80 million, and you can't help out these 500? The truth, in my opinion, is that even if they did, where are you going to put them? Cook Hall was totally infested with mold. All of these buildings, okay? You can paint over it, all right? But, man, fix the DOAS units. I have so many reports of those damn DOAS units being broken on the rooftops. All of them were broken at College Hall North, College Hall South, okay? Cook Hall, they were inoperable as well. But you ask them, they'll tell you, well, the DOAS is just the RTU AC unit. No, it's not. It's a separate system. They had no clue as to what it was. I'm not going to lie. I hate to say it. It's in my report. I was hoping President Frederick would, either he's not getting my emails, or, the powers that whoever's running interference, okay, they're not telling him. Either he doesn't know or he just doesn't care, and I was told that he was notified, okay. The vice president, Dr. Cynthia Evers, she called me, from a cell phone one day earlier this year, asking me about my reporting, and I told her. But once I got into the fact that Red Cam, okay, what's her name, Candy and Mr. Mueller, okay, were allowing certain people there to stay rent and utilities free, in dorm units. Okay, you got a chief engineer who's barely literate. This guy had a 4-bedroom dorm unit that would go for over $5,000 a month, rent and utilities free, living with a young black girl, late teens, early 20s. We all figured, well, that must be his girlfriend. Well, no. Well, my company, the people in there were saying, well, no, that she's the caregiver for his elderly mother who lives in the dorm building. Ain't nobody seen the elderly mother. Okay. And she's walking his dog, taking out his trash. I'm like, damn, how is this allowed to go on there? Okay. The assistant to the director, okay, she lived rent and utilities free. And they had other people that were making plenty of money a year, at least 100,000 from what I'm told, and you're giving them free room and board at Mazza Grand Mark, and they did not work at Mazza Grand Mark. I was the supervisor of that building, and I brought this up. It's discrimination. And like I said, our wars against flesh is not with flesh and blood, okay? Because yeah, racism exists, but it also exists in your own community, with your own color. Because, you know, who knows why certain people in power don't care? Either they're paid to do this, okay, or they just don't care, or they don't know, or maybe they just don't know what's going on. I don't know. I tried calling I called the newspaper there, the Hilltop. Of course, they're not going to run any type of reporting because, well, they might lose their job. You know, they might lose their position. You know what I mean? Then you got some situations where, okay, this director is an AKA and the one investigator, she's an AKA. Well, you know, you can't, you know, take your sister out. I get that. But do something. Come up with an announcement. Hey, you know, I messed up. I'm sorry. Here's the reason why, or this person dropped the ball. Do something. But unfortunately, Howard University is losing its, you know, its polish. It's just got the wrong people in charge. That's all it is, you know. It's a very noble institution. All my heroes went there. And when you look at, you know, examine the words of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, the late, great Dr. Welsing, and she said, Howard University is a black university in name only. That's her words. That's what she said. You know, and they fired her. So what does that say? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I mean, maybe someone will see this video, maybe not, maybe no one will see it, but I just feel like it's my spiritual duty to at least bring this stuff to light. Because you got kids, yeah, you're young adults, kids to me though. You got kids moving into these dorm buildings with no clue as to what's lying behind the veil. And I just hope to God they repaired all of those DOAS units that I reported that were broken. Okay, you had a chief engineer that was bypassing circuits with paper clips, blowing out boards, blowing out all types of PCBs. Trial and error. He didn't have any degrees or certifications, so I guess he figured trial and error was the best way to learn, and he destroyed a whole lot of things over there. He had carte blanche. Do what you want. Go ahead, have at it. You know, the Bethune cafeteria was, on an average, you had to average it out to the nearest, it was 100 degrees, 95 to 100 degrees on average last year. Okay, and six units supplying cold air to that area. All 6 were inoperable. I mean, For a while. I mean, for a while. If you were there last year, you know what I'm talking about, okay? For a while, a great while, you know, that was not a priority. That was not a priority. Let them sweat it out. Nobody gave two damns about that. And it just kind of pissed me off. It really, truly did, you know? And when they fired me, I'm like, well, damn, can you tell me why you fired me? And so they sent me an email talking about, well, because of your actions and your, how did they put it? Your communication style. What the hell does that mean? Oh, you mean speaking up for the kids? You can't be down for the cause over there. I'm telling you right now, you just can't do it. Can't do it, can't do it. So for those who want to attend Howard University, they have, of course, the educators are magnificent. They've got the absolute best. But when it comes to the hierarchy of the dorm buildings, then you got the top of the pyramid, Mr. Frederick himself. This isn't his first rodeo. He's used to this. He's used to this controversy, you know, and he'll stay there. You know, you look at him, a Roland Martin, he's very well composed, and, you know, and he said straight up, he's not worried about them 500. He's worried about the ones who did get in. I said, dang, bro, really? For real? I mean, that takes, I guess if I had 80 million, I'd be talking like that too. You know, maybe I wouldn't care. I don't know. $80 million. What is Mackenzie Scott? I would love somebody to interview her. Hey, ma'am, you gave these Negroes $80 million. What do you have to say about it? It might be a mic drop. She might have to, they might have to bleep it out. I can just imagine what Mackenzie Scott is thinking when she sees this shit on the news. And then Tyler Perry, you know, he gets up there and he helped one of them out. He paid the tuition for one of them, but what about the girls in the homeless shelters that have been waiting forever? It's their dream, their life's dream to go to Howard. But no, they can't get in because the president just, you know, he dropped the ball. No one is held accountable. You ever notice that? You do something wrong, you're held accountable. But when they do something wrong, oh, well, I'm sorry about that. It was a misunderstanding or something. What, dude? Step down and let somebody else take the reins. And if you can't do the job, you know, I mean, you know, maybe there's some things I'm not cut out for, you know, but this is embarrassing to the world, on the world stage. Never in history, never in the history of the world has this happened at a university where you unenroll 502 students and you keep their money, you keep the deposit on top of that. Wow, man. That takes some balls. That takes some real balls. I'm just saying it straight up. I don't know how else to say it, you know. That takes some real steel, goddamn cobalt balls to do that. You know, it's just uncanny. It makes you wonder, what universe is this that we live in where this is like the norm now? This is the new norm. It's not funny, but damn. What can you say? What can you say? What can you do? I'm doing what I can. I applaud those revolutionaries, the ones with guts in 2021 who stood up against these people, against the powers that be, and let them know. Yeah, they took over that Blackburn Center, and let them know, you guys need to fix this. They were living like rats in a cage over there. Rats in a cage. Mold everywhere. And you know, when I got there, when they hired me, because they called me, I'm from New Orleans. They called me to go up there. I didn't call them. I worked for them before. I'm talking about campus apartments. They asked me to go up there because nobody up there knew what the hell they was doing, and they weren't certified. The chief engineer wasn't even EPA certified, okay? I said, yes, I'd love to work up there. All my heroes went there, including my late great Uncle Gilbert, the civil rights leader who worked side by side with Medgar Evers. And it was an honor to go there, but my God, when I got there, I couldn't believe how horrible the condition of a lot of these areas were. The environment was just totally unacceptable. I'm thinking, is this like a kennel? Are these mechanical rooms for a kennel, a large SPCA? Yeah, it was that bad. It was that bad. I can only say it because I got the evidence and documentation to prove it. And I had just been ignored by the powers that be. And they're like, so when President Trump announced that there'd be a government shutdown last October 2nd, that was the day they told me I will no longer have a job on November 12th once Mazda Grand Mark sold. Once I get the building completed for sale, they don't have a place for me back at Howard. Although they had told me on every occasion that I was only serving at Mazda Grand Mark as the interim maintenance supervisor. So either they don't know what the word interim means, or it was just a setup. And I knew it felt like a setup when they sent me over there. I knew what it was. I was hoping that the president would intervene because I did make my concerns known to that office. Can't get a hold of them. Not possible, not possible, not possible. So anyway, good luck, y'all, whoever is there at Howard University. But like Michael Jackson said, they don't care about us. They don't care about us, I tell you. They really don't care about us. And Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, I'm sure most of you know her. If you don't, you got to do your research, because she was a brilliant woman, and I wish she was alive today to address all this garbage. I feel bad for the kids, and I'm making this video as a concerned citizen.
Yes, he would.
You know the damage one ignorant Negro can do.
It's still ridiculous that we were out here for 34 days. It's atrocity.
Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Enough is enough.
The occupation of Blackburn Student Center by the Live movement ended November 15th at noon after 34 days. The protest drew the attention of notable figures Yandy Smith, Wale, Jesse Jackson, Debbie Allen, faculty, alumni, and participants of former Howard protest.
It'll be really interesting to see how this energy can be taken from a mobilized event to a sustained, organized movement.
Anyone got extension cords? Pop them in here.
The occupation relied on community for support and donations. There was coverage on social media and various news outlets.
We got strides to accountability. I can say that we laid groundwork for questions to be answered in the future, and for Frederick to show up when we need him to. Hopefully he resigns, though.
How do you guys feel about this protest?
I support it. I think that those kids deserve better, and it's like the mold. And I saw a clip the other day, like in some chemistry lab, the water was orange. It's like those kids would be better off rolling their eyeballs down Georgia Avenue than putting their face in the science lab, the stuff that's supposed to protect you. So yeah, I support them.
I'm gonna be honest. I went to a HBCU too. I went to Tuskegee University. I'm very surprised Howard is going through this because they get all the money. Like they always get the donation money. Like, y'all going through it like this? But I knew it was bad when I read that they had Seduxo as they keep people. I was like, when Seduxo was working for your university, I already know it's bad. It's mold everywhere. it's going to be some vermin running around. But I expect better. I'm with the students.
To the kids when they come in 3 or 4 weeks, but we're doing a really bad job at it. Okay, it's bad. Okay, the inspections that we've done thus far, probably 50% of them are failing. Okay, and they're failing for just about everything, predominantly HVAC items. Okay, we've only done College Hall South and Access. We're going into North this week. We expect to have it done in a couple of days, and we're going to go over to Cook or Drew, or Quad. We got to do all the freshman dorms first.
Okay, so Drew and
Cook and Quad.
Cook.
Quad first?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that. Anyhow, so it's really important that I need for everybody to step up. And I'm not joking about this. I mean majorly step up, because it's bad. It's very, very bad. Okay? We have inappropriately sized blinds being installed. Bad. We have almost every third piece of equipment in Access doesn't work. Every third piece of equipment in Access doesn't work. Okay? Bad. I don't want a single child moving into any of our buildings without air conditioning, without hot water, without the appropriate accoutrements in their units, appropriate blinds, appropriate everything. But you got me stuck. Like, somebody made a bad decision and bought the wrong size blinds and then went and installed them. Okay? It's crazy. Okay? It makes no sense to me. But this kind of stuff has to stop. And since you're the team, if you see something or you're asked to do something and it's just flat out wrong, you come to Alan, okay? If you can't manage it, or you don't feel like Alan's giving you the time of day, you come to me or Mike, okay? I don't really care how much involvement I have to take. I just care that this be done, okay? So there's your corporate hierarchy. There's everything that has campus department's name on it. But all of this has Howard University's name on it, okay? The liability situations we've opened up, I'm finding that I don't even want to get into it all, but it's bad, okay? Just walk around in Bethune's garage and that'll pretty much sum everything up. That's how bad it is. Anyhow.
What the fuck?
Pretty much need every single unit walked in, okay? And this team pretty much, well, you guys pretty much got to take care of that, okay? And Cortez when he gets back. It's bad. I mean, it's bad. You know, every other unit, every third unit you walk into has no HVAC. That's difficult to comprehend. And I've been doing this for 44 years. In 44 years, I will tell you, I've never seen anything this bad in my life, okay? I've also never walked into something that's called rent ready and not had AC. This has never happened to me before, but it's the second year it's happening here at Howard, okay? Units are punched before they're turned, period. And you can tell me all day long, things happen, stuff breaks. You can tell me that all day long. But my 44 years in this business says you can fix things well enough that they're not going to break in a week. You can also set a thermostat high enough where it's not coming on all the time to break the unit. You know, you can do things. The mandate here is every unit is set to 72 degrees, every unit is on auto, fans on auto. Not once have I found that. Okay, and Anthony knows this because I preached it last year. I wrote it down. That's the way it's got to be. When I walk into units, it's got to be at 72 degrees and then auto. That way you save these units because they're only going to cycle at 72 degrees and the fan is only going to come on when the unit cycles. So that's the way you save the units. If you're that afraid that they're going to fall apart in front of your eyes, just do yourself a favor. You're afraid of light bulbs. Drew, like how many light bulbs were burnt out last year? Probably 2 in every unit if we took an average. Turn off all the lights in all the units, then you save the light bulbs. Those are the facts of the matter.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Okay, so come here first, turn this on, then go look at where the fire is at and see what the problem is.
Say what?
I think people misunderstood what we meant by 50%.
That doesn't make sense.
Listen, the math speaks for itself, as you just pointed out, but I'll take it one step further. Those people are focused on those 500 students. I'm focused on the 12 to 13,000 students across this campus.
Nigga, what? We meant the outstanding balance after the 40,000, which is 20,000. And so we wanted people to pay us 50% of that 20,000 that was left. And that's an example where we could have actually put in, some numbers as an example and showed, people exactly what we were referring to as well.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers.
First of all, Howard University is a black university in name only. In other words, those who fund an institution within the framework of a political system Those who fund an institution determine what is going to be done within the framework of that institution. And so although Howard University is referred to as a black university and the majority of the student body is black and the majority of the faculty is black, still it is possible, I say it is possible, that those people who control the purse strings can say, we do not like such and such an ideology or philosophy that is coming out of this center. If this continues to come out, then we will not give you funds for building and we will not give you funds to continue the functioning of your center. Now you make your choice.